kids, where are you? It's time for all the art to tell stories.
Ella lived in the quiet village of Dry Hollow, a place where rain had become a distant memory. The fields were cracked, and the streams had run dry. Despite the dire circumstances, Ella always had hope. She had a secret. She could speak to the clouds. From the age of 6, Ella noticed she could hear whispers in the sky. At first, she thought it was her imagination. But as she grew older, she realized the voices came from the clouds. "We're restless," they would murmur. "The winds scatter us, and we don't know where to go." Ella told no one, fearing they'd think her strange. But deep inside, she knew her gift could help her village. Dry Hollow's situation worsened. Crops failed, and the villagers grew desperate. Many considered leaving, but Ella couldn't bear to see her home abandoned. She often walked to the edge of the fields, gazing at the barren skies, willing the clouds together. One evening, her best friend Leo found her staring upward. "What are you doing, Ella?" he asked. "I'm wishing for rain," she replied. Leo laughed softly. "We all are." Ella hesitated, then said, "What if I told you I could talk to the clouds?" Leo looked at her, puzzled but intrigued. "I'd say you're either joking or you've been out in the sun too long." "I'm serious," Ella insisted. "And I think I can make it rain." Ella decided it was time to act. She climbed the hill overlooking the village and reached out to the sky with her mind. "Come closer," she whispered. "Stay together, and I'll guide you." The clouds, scattered and thin, began to gather. Ella felt a surge of energy as she directed them. But just as the clouds darkened, the wind blew them apart. She collapsed, exhausted. Leo, who had followed her, helped her up. "You really can talk to them," he said, astonished. "But it's not enough," Ella murmured. Ella's grandmother, a wise old woman, noticed her determination. One evening, she pulled Ella aside. "I've seen what you're trying to do," she said. Ella's eyes widened. "You believe me?" Her grandmother nodded. "Our ancestors spoke of cloud whisperers, people with the power to call rain. But it's not just about talking. You must listen to the clouds and understand their needs." Her grandmother handed her an old journal filled with notes about weather patterns, wind currents, and ancient rituals. "This might help," she said. Ella spent weeks studying the journal and practicing her powers. She learned to listen more carefully to the clouds, understanding their fears and desires. Slowly, she gained their trust. One afternoon, she tried again. This time, the clouds obeyed, gathering into a thick grey mass. As Ella raised her arms, raindrops began to fall. The villagers ran outside, laughing and dancing in the rain. "You did it!" Leo shouted, hugging her. But Ella knew this was just the beginning. The rain was brief, and the drought wasn't over. Word of Ella's gift spread to nearby villages, some of which were suffering even worse than Dry Hollow. A messenger arrived, pleading for her help. "Our rivers are dry, and our children are hungry," he said. Ella realized her responsibility extended beyond her village. With Leo by her side, she set out on a journey to bring rain to other drought-stricken lands. Ella's journey was not easy. Each region had its own weather challenges, and not all clouds were willing to listen. Some were stubborn, refusing to move from the mountains or deserts. In one village, Ella encountered a powerful storm cloud that had been stuck for weeks. Its presence brought shade but no rain, and the villagers were losing hope. Ella approached the cloud cautiously. "Why won't you rain?" she asked. "I'm afraid," the cloud replied. "If I release my water, I'll disappear." Ella reassured the cloud, explaining that its purpose was to nourish the earth. With her guidance, the cloud released its rain, saving the village. As Ella's fame grew, she learned of a vast desert where no rain had fallen in decades. This place, known as the Great Drought, was said to be cursed. Determined to help, Ella traveled there. Despite warnings from others, the desert was harsh, and Ella's powers were pushed to their limits. The clouds she summoned evaporated before they could form properly. Exhausted and discouraged, Ella began to doubt herself. It was Leo who reminded her of her strength. "You've already done the impossible," he said. "If anyone can bring rain here, it's you." Ella meditated, drawing on everything she had learned. She reached out to the sky, calling every cloud within hundreds of miles. Slowly they began to gather, forming a massive storm system. The villagers of the Great Drought watched in awe as the sky darkened. With a final burst of energy, Ella commanded the clouds to release their rain. Torrents of water poured down, reviving the parched land. The villagers cheered, calling Ella a miracle worker. But Ella simply smiled and said, "It's the clouds you should thank. They've always had the power. I just helped them find it." Ella returned to Dry Hollow, where the fields were green and the rivers full once more. She continued to use her gift, teaching others to respect and care for the environment. Her journey had shown her that her gift wasn't just about bringing rain, it was about bringing hope. And as she looked up at the sky, she knew the clouds would always be her allies. If you like our stories, please like, subscribe, and turn on the little bell so you won't miss exciting stories every day. You are also welcome to share it with family and friends to listen to the story together. Love you.